Hello everyone, this is Sunny from Sun's English. Today's video is for both parents who want to know more about high school English and how to help their children approach their English studies in high school, but also students who are struggling to understand the requirements of high school English. So first, we'll broadly look at the difference between high school and primary school English, then move on to looking at what an analytical essay is, because it is basically the greatest difference between primary and high school English, before finally moving on to a mini case study on how we need to shift our brains from merely comprehending text to analyzing text in high school. Let's first look at the difference between primary and high school English. In primary school, students consolidate their understanding of grammar, vocabulary, and also their comprehension skills. More specifically, in primary school English, comprehension is all about reading a text and understanding the content of who, what, when, where, and why. And in the case of writing, through predominantly practicing imaginative, persuasive, and informative writing, students develop the skills of expressing their own thoughts clearly through written expression. However, high school English is quite different. Firstly, in high school, most assessments will be dedicated to writing essays. This is unlike the questions that students have been exposed to in primary school English, where they have been practicing multiple choice style exams and answering basic comprehension questions. Secondly, students will study longer and or more difficult texts. That is, students will need to read and understand texts such as novels or Shakespearean plays. The third and last difference we'll be looking at today is possibly the greatest difference between primary and high school English, and it is in the fact that students have to start reading and writing more analytically, as essays that they will write will mostly be analytical essays. Yes, there are schools that do start essay writing a bit later on in high school, but schools that are quote unquote good at English develop students' essay writing skills from year 7 all the way up till year 12. But what actually is an analytical essay? Simply put, it is a work that interprets how meaning is created through artistic and or literary construction. In other words, it is not just summarizing who is doing what, where, and why in a text, but critically studying how an author's purpose is being represented through written and or artistic expression. But learning how to analyze a text is also a skill that needs to be developed. How do we actually analyze a text? Let's have a go at analyzing a part of William Wordsworth's poem I Wandered as Lonely as a Cloud together. Have a read of what is written on the left-hand side of the screen here. I Wandered as Lonely as a Cloud is a poem by William Wordsworth written during the Romantic era. He captures a moment of happiness as he comes across a host of golden daffodils. Would this be analytical writing or would it be descriptive slash explanatory writing? You're right if you thought it was explanatory. The reason being that it actually isn't critically unpacking how language is being used in conveying a particular idea, but it is just explaining that it is a poem written during the Romantic era and that he feels happy coming across a host of golden daffodils. Now, let's have a look at the basic steps that can help us think and or write more analytically. So when we are analyzing, it is important to understand what is going on holistically, yes, but we also need to focus on how separate parts of the text are creating meaning. So rather than just explaining that, Wordsworth shows his initial loneliness in claiming he wandered lonely as a cloud by saying something like, through likening his solitary experience to that of aimless clouds in the personified simile, that he wandered lonely as a cloud, Wordsworth initially establishes a mood of isolation. We're able to see how specifically the simile is able to enhance the mood of isolation, capturing how the persona at the beginning of the poem feels lonely and alienated. Let's do one more together. So rather than just commenting once again that Wordsworth depicts how his encounter with daffodils changes mood, as in when all at once I saw a crowd, a host of golden daffodils, saying instead something like, however, the use of collective noun that connotes a sense of divinity in describing how he all at once I saw a host of golden daffodils, Wordsworth emphasizes the sublime beauty one can find in the natural world. We're able to capture how the collective noun in the poem is able to specifically capture a moment in which the persona comes to recognize the beauty of the world around him. See how this is different to just vaguely commenting or saying that his mood changes, where we have to guess that he was lonely, but his mood changes to one of elation and happiness after seeing the daffodils. Yes, high school English is a lot more difficult than what is required in primary school English, but if you work smartly in approaching your high school English studies, it is most definitely possible to do well. I hope this video was helpful and thank you guys so much for watching and I'll see you guys again soon.